Ivan,
Hi,
come
Cesar. How are you?
fine and you.
I'm good. I'm good.
So let me read your note.
Um, yeah. So yeah, based on the message that I was sending you,
Hmm.
um, I just came to the profound realization that uh, you can't wake up from the dream because consciousness is the dream.
No, consciousness is the witness of the dream.
Y Yeah, no, I would agree to that too. But at some level, it has to be the dream too,
Yes, correct.
because there's nothing I can, yeah, it has to, it's the neti method. It's like I'm not the body, but at the fundamental level, yes, I am the body. There is no ego, but then I am the ego, right?
Well, if you don't see the world, the dream, as separate from consciousness, you can no longer call it ego, world, mind, manifestation, or whatever. It's consciousness, right?
What does that mean though? I can understand that it's an experience that, because I still feel, and that's part of the dream, I still feel like a person. I don't feel like I've changed. I don't know. Like you said, like I doesn't exist, the ego doesn't exist, but nothing changed. I just saw that I am the dream, but then I'm not the dream. I'm not identified with the character. So the character can't wake up because the character is the dream.
The
It's
dreamer
like the
and
light that is being projected onto the screen.
the dreamer and the dream are the mind. Consciousness is not dreaming anything. It's the witness of the dreamer and the dream. The dreamer of the dream appears in the awakened state, continues in the dream state, and both disappear, dreamer and dream, in deep sleep. What I mean is that the ego is within the dream, right? If you don't see the ego or the dream, which includes the ego, as separate from consciousness, so there is only consciousness. There is no ego, there is no dreamer, there is no dream. Are you following?
I get what you're saying, but I don't see any difference. I mean, I don't even know what you mean when like there's no ego. To me, that would be like there's no separate, like there's the body, but it's almost like I have to let go of the knowledge of what is the body, or let go of any knowledge.
You have to let go any knowledge,
Yeah,
including
how do how do you do that? I mean, that's I don't know. I mean, you function without memory. I mean, how do you?
knowledge means concept.
Okay, but I can't do. I you can't function in society like that.
If you still feel like you're a person, the ego is not gone yet. If it is not gone yet, the knowledge of being consciousness hasn't appeared.
Okay, but what knows this then? How can I know if the ego is still here? Then
Because
how can I know that
the question will not be there.
what question?
Any questions about this matter? If you see the wave as, as something different from the sea, you call it wave, right?
Hmm.
If you don't see the wave as different from the sea, there is no wave, there is only the sea. That's what I mean. That's pretty simple.
Um,
If you don't see the shirt as separate from the cotton that is made of, there is no shirt, there is only cotton. If you don't see the ring, the golden ring, as separate from the gold, there is no ring, there is only gold.
But how does consciousness know that if it doesn't know anything? So how would it know that it is the
It
other
doesn't,
person if it doesn't know what a person is?
it's like to say that the sea doesn't see any wave because the wave is the sea. So what consciousness or the sea could see, but itself. See, consciousness doesn't see anything, means it doesn't see anything other than itself. Whatever consciousness is conscious of or aware of is nothing but itself. It is the mind that sees itself and the other. Mind itself is the
Okay,
soul
but
I. Mind itself is only the soul I, meaning by I body, and you, another body, see, which is apparently perceived through the senses as external, see, separate, different, outside.
yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to figure out what do I do in that because I'm still like I'm seeing you on screen and
Yes,
I say, okay, that's just the
that's
concept.
the
It's just the
mind.
concept.
That's the mind. I see you. See, consciousness, if consciousness would say, which consciousness doesn't say a word because it is only silence. So it's I see I, not other.
And functioning in society wouldn't even be a question,
The,
right?
it won't be a question. See, the activities of the body as it's a dream, right? So the dream goes on. And the mental activity,
Yeah,
practicality of daily life goes on. The idea that the dreamer and the dream are separate from consciousness, that is what disappears. That there is something there that exists separately, independently from consciousness. As you rightly said, the projection cannot exist without the screen. The screen is the foundation, see, what is fundamentally present. The projection appears and disappears. There might be projection or there might not be projection. You can't separate the projection from the screen. It is impossible.
so the only thing separating me from the screen is, like you said, the mind that is saying me and other, me or I and that.
Nothing is separating you from the screen because there is no you separate from the screen, united with the screen. There is no you separate from consciousness or you united with consciousness. There is, see, you are consciousness.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the mind, it's the I, it's the thought.
The thought I, which creates the idea of separation, and then creates the idea that the apparent separate self has to do something to reunite itself with consciousness. That is also an illusion. Whatever,
Right, that's part of the dream. Yeah.
yeah, it's part of the dream.
Okay. So, yeah, I like what you're saying. So the key is really in the present moment, which that's the only thing that there is, and it's the imagination of the future and the past which create the storyline, the dream that I'm the character and I have to do something. Something needs to change. I need to wake up, which is
The,
part of the dream.
yeah, the
So the key is
future.
really in the present moment.
No, The future, the past, and the present are thought. And these thoughts are dreamt by the mind. So there is no past, present, and future neither. It is also thought.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I like. I feel like I have it, but then you say, wait, there is no present moment. And I'm like, okay, then what is this?
Because you are asking a question from the absolute point of view. And from the absolute point of view, everything is denied as other. So there is no past, there is no present, and there is no future. And there is no one there that can possibly experience it. Because all that is one thought. I am experiencing the present. I am in the now. See, there is only the now, there is only the present. All this is thought. See, the I thought is there, right?
Yeah.
Saying that it is in the now, that there is only the present. If the thought I disappear, where is past, present, and future?
But we did say that at the fundamental level, there is an I. It's just that that I doesn't exist the way we think it does.
From
And
the fundamental level means from the absolute point of view. From the absolute point of view, there is no other, only the absolute. And from the absolute point of view, the question simply does not arise.
yeah,
And the intellect will not take,
so
and the intellect will not take you to that understanding. The intellect must be deactivated. And it gets deactivated when all the knowledge that it has disappears in the intellect itself.
that's memory.
Yes, knowledge is memory. What I know is what I remember.
Okay, but who's letting go of memory or trying to get out of memory and just being
This,
present? What you say is there's no present, but
you
I'm like,
must find out the answer to that question. I can tell you is the ego let go all that, and if the ego let go of that, the ego disappears in consciousness.
yeah, that's what I said in the messages where I said that there's nothing. The ego is nothing, but it still leaves me. It's like I'm waiting for something. I'm waiting for something to happen.
No,
And it
no.
can't. It
So
can't.
I don't deny that the experience of nothing, you call it nothing, but consciousness is not nothing. It's not empty or emptiness. This
No,
is,
it's everything. I get it.
this is how it is interpreted uh, at the beginning, right? It is what you are. So you got a glimpse of consciousness, right? But still, it's not clear that you are that consciousness. So you as the ego are not fully gone.
No, yeah, it's still there.
Otherwise, the question will not arise. Because the question arises from the ego. Only the ego has questions and thoughts.
Yeah. So follow or not follow, but see where that thought of the thought is coming from, which leads me back to the nothingness, which is everything. But it's like that's why I keep saying that I feel like I'm just waiting for something to happen.
No, exactly. The ego is waiting for something to happen. So the dream character is waiting for something to happen, and that keeps the dreamer there. This is what keeps the ego there. Waiting for something to happen means it wants something to happen. So
So then go to that want.
it is not
Go.
it is not fully quiet. When it is fully quiet,
No.
fully still, It's not waiting for anything, including enlightenment. Because the only one that is waiting for something is the mind.
Yeah, no, I totally feel like that. I feel like I'm waiting to be free. I'm waiting to be happy. I'm waiting for more money. And I know that it's ego. It's
Yes,
looking towards the future. It's imagining something. And it's like, no, it's right here. This is what I am.
the gel is created by the ego and the gel is imaginary. So,
Yeah.
where was I?
Yeah, just the,
See, thoughts will dissolve into the intellect, and the intellect will dissolve into the ego. When the ego is alone, see, the ego alone cannot survive because the ego can survive only by feeding itself with thoughts, meaning by that, thoughts about objects, right? The ego
mhm.
subject cannot survive without the objects, right? Because it feeds on objects. The first object that the ego grasped, it is the body. And after that, it grasped other objects. That is why if attention goes from the object to the subject, the objects disappear, mean thoughts, plural, disappear. And then the I thought, the I am the body idea, the idea that gives the impression that the body is the subject, the seer, right? It will disappear. If that thought remains single, alone, it can't survive. It sinks in consciousness. That's the meaning
Yeah,
of the.
but I
Uh-huh.
still feel like I'm waiting. I still feel like I'm waiting. If I'm going to, okay, beyond the thought of I'm the body, or who is this I? Who is this I that is resisting what's happening, or who's resisting, a person, right? Like it still feels like I'm waiting for something to change.
Yes, yes. Because you believe to be the ego, then you believe that you are going to go beyond the ego. The ego cannot go beyond itself, and you are already that which is beyond the ego. The
Well,
idea
that's why I
is
say that I am the ego at the fundamental level. It's your consciousness is playing as the ego to
not
play
the,
the personality.
you believe you are the ego, not in the fundamental level. On a superficial level, you believe that you are the ego. On the fundamental uh, level, you are fundamentally consciousness.
Right, yes.
That means
So the ego,
that the ego
go
is
ahead.
not fully still, it's not fully quiet, because it is waiting for something to happen, right? So it still has a desire. It wants something to happen. It's waiting for something to happen because it wants something to happen. So give up that desire, and without that desire for something to happen, it will not survive. It will sink into consciousness.
And that would be the most direct inquiry that I can make, looking at um, that thing that wants something to happen.
Yes, because you believe to be this I, right? Then you inquire about this I. When you see this I keeps quiet because because it keeps quiet, it disappears. And then it becomes obvious that I means consciousness.
Even when I put my attention on this I, there's nothing that moves. There's no attention. Attention doesn't even exist too. It's just like, what do I do to put my attention? Nothing. It's like saying, how do you be aware? It's like you're already aware.
See, the moment that you think that you are aware, you are no longer aware.
Yeah, that's the part that's
Because
confusing me because
real awareness is I-less, egoless, mindless, thoughtless. See, this I that is aware is this false awareness.
yeah, I don't know the difference. I don't know if I can get there. I don't
That's
know.
that exactly. That's why all the questions. See, when you have a glimpse of consciousness, not as if it is something that you know, but what you are, then the question it becomes very clear, and the question will simply not arise. There will be no confusion.
Okay, so how would you define knowing yourself versus well, let me state it this way. Being as you are versus thinking about yourself or knowing you know who you are.
Because the thought I or I am is not present. And yet I am present and I know that I am. See, because
Yeah.
consciousness or the self or true being is self-aware. It is conscious, but not conscious of something, only of itself. Consciousness in reality is the seer, the sin, and the act of sin, because it's knowing only itself. Because it is conscious. And because it's conscious, it knows that it is. So it is consciousness. Being is consciousness. It becomes self-evident. That's what I'm saying. The answer is quite simple. You may not grasp it now. I'm sure that later you will, right? How do I know that the experience is true? Because the question will simply not arise. Because the questioner will not be there.
Yeah, it just feels to me like I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to let go of concepts, memory, intellect, and let go of my
Now that's the wrong
like
approach.
to me, really, knowledge is like as long as
That is the wrong approach. I want to let go of this. So the I still is doing something which is letting go of this. So you have to let go the idea that you are the I that lets go. I mean, how much battery you
I
say?
don't know how to do that.
You see, there is no way. You can't do it. It cannot be done. The ego has to be still. So the ego is asking what to do to let go of
Yeah,
the ego. The ego will never let go of the ego. So it's not
I
about
don't know
doing
what I am.
something. It's about keeping still, keeping quiet, mentally quiet,
What
mentally
it
still.
so no just observation of thoughts, just observation of everything.
No, 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 not of thoughts, of the thinker.
But there's no thinker. There's nothing.
This is your words, please. Pay attention to the explanation. We have an intruder here. The cat. You don't spoil the computer, cat. Say hi to everybody. Good. Okay. So the eye has to keep look at itself, right? Even if there are thoughts and perceptions, right? Don't let go of the perceiver. Don't let go. Keep attention only on the perceiver. You see things through the senses and you see the thought, but also see the seer of the thoughts. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. So just put my attention on the seer, the watcher, the perceiver.
Yes,
I can do that, but
yes.
I guess I get restless on that where I'm like, there's nothing there. It's like the looking is the looking.
No, but this is false self-awareness. This is the ego aware of itself. If the ego is aware of
It's trying to
itself,
be
if the ego is aware of itself for long enough, it will disappear.
okay, so I need to stay there longer, if anything.
Yes. But you become restless too quickly, and you draw conclusions too quickly. Oh, there is nothing, then DDT and DDT and that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be smart, or the ego's trying to be smart.
Yes, 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 yes. The ego is very smart, very clever, conveniently.
Well, not that smart if it's create, if it if it's creating, if it thinks it has problems, but then it's the one creating it, so it's really not that smart. But
Yes, yes. No, but this is a smart move of the ego, because this is how the ego
yeah,
remains as the ego, trying to understand something.
yes,
Then they cannot be, because then how is going? See, is keep on producing, see, thoughts, right? It has to remain free from thoughts.
okay,
The thought I, if it is free from all the thoughts by itself, by its own weight, right? It will sink into consciousness. Means that thought I, or I am the body, will disappear, dissolve into consciousness. Disappear means dissolved, merge. If it is quiet, quiet is already merged into consciousness, because mine is thoughts, right?
hmm
Mine is nothing but a conglomeration of thoughts. First thought is I, meaning by that I am the body, right? Because Ivan, apparently you are Ivan,
yeah,
okay? I am the body, and I am having all
mm,
these thoughts and all these perceptions, right?
yeah,
So is Ivan remains free from thoughts, Ivan, apparently, right? Then the
yeah.
thought, I am Ivan, the I thought, the I am the body idea, it will also disappear. And there will be no thoughts, including the I thought.
And this is because consciousness sees the thought and then recognizes that it's conscious of the thought by remaining the
You
attention
want to
on
come,
conscious.
you want to come to the conclusion. This is another smart move. That is because of leave consciousness alone. Consciousness doesn't say a word, even though all words come from consciousness. Consciousness never, see, broke. It has never, it has been, he never broke his silence. See, it is always silence. So consciousness,
Okay, but
uh,
what about attention? So I like the fact that you say, okay, keep the attention on the perceiver,
what
which is not
about,
really doing anything, because that's what I am. And I do notice that there is this silence, this sense of peace. I don't know. There's a little bit of bliss in that, because I know that there's nothing there, and it's just
no, that bliss is called Ananda Maya. See, Ananda is bliss, Maya is illusory. That bliss is illusory because it's not permanent. Because it is gone as soon as you start activating, see, your thoughts. It's gone. So real bliss cannot come and go, appear and disappear. It must be permanent.
well, yeah, it may not be bliss. I'm saying like a relaxation, because I'm not so infused with the thoughts. Like I don't follow or think that I am the thought.
Yeah. But the one that is not, but this must be important to understand. The one that is enjoying this thoughtless state is a thought. And what is experiencing is an illusory blissness produced by the absence of thoughts, plural thoughts, right? It still is experiencer of something, see? Experiencer of bliss. The consciousness is bliss, cannot experience bliss because it is bliss.
Yeah, that's so there is no feeling. So consciousness doesn't feel anything. It
Does the screen feel
does
anything? If you project fire on the screen, does it the screen feel any heat?
no,
Uh,
no.
so it is consciousness. Consciousness is your
Sight.
consciousness. It doesn't feel, it doesn't experience, it doesn't know. It, it has no body, it has no mind. All this new age nonsense that, oh, we are consciousness experiencing human life. This absolute rubbish. It's the mind that is experiencing the human body that itself manifested.
But we still, so that's what I'm saying. That's the integration from the human body, which we're still having like human lives and we're still experiencing through the body.
Yeah, but
It's not to say that's
this is
us.
this belongs to the mind, not to consciousness. Mind creates the body. Identify itself with the body that it creates and says, I am here and I am this. And by doing so, it appears to be a separate entity.
Right. And I'm not, what I'm saying is there's no problem with the feelings or the body. The problem is the identification and thinking that that's who we are.
Yes. See, body sensations will be
Okay.
there until the body drops.
Yes, that's what I was, because that was one of the confusions that I was having with what you were saying from our other conversations where you made it seem like I shouldn't feel, I shouldn't have emotions, I shouldn't even the thoughts, like having positive thoughts, obviously it's not you, but if you have negative thoughts, you're going to have a worse life than if you have positive thoughts. But the key is don't identify, know what you are.
The thoughts that remain when the ego disappears, they are neither positive nor negative. They are just practical, right? Like,
Okay.
where is the coffee and where is the water? And this is kitchen electric. How does it work? I want to make a cup of coffee. That's all. It's just a practical thinking, right? Without identification.
So there's no reaction, there's no
They,
uh,
they are not they are not overreactions. See, what you call
okay.
emotions, they are mental overreactions. And these overreactions can be either positive or negative. You can have a heart attack because your soccer team won the World Cup, as much as you can have a heart attack because your soccer team lost the World Cup.
Okay.
So this is not about positive thinking or negative thinking.
Right, because it's just one experience, one energy.
This is the problem there. You are
um
drawing this conclusion because there is this and there is that. See, there's a tendency. See,
yeah, I mean, I don't know, I
the
don't know
mind
what
is
I can
trying to
do.
know why. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand. This is why.
So what do I do there? What do I do there, Cesar? I mean, I
But who is gonna
this is what I'm
do
telling
it?
you.
Who is the doer? The doer wants to remain there asking, what do I do there? Right? The ego says, okay, what part shall I play? Is if I disappear, if I am not there, not been there, what part shall I play? No part at all. It will just not be there. It's not even there now. It appears to be there. As a thought, I am the body. I am Ivan asking all these questions.
Yeah, it's there. It appears to be there, but it's not really there because even when I look for, let's say, who's speaking these words? Well, ego says I'm speaking these words,
Yeah, but
but there's no one. Yeah,
now the ego is playing with the question, who is if the ego raises the question, it will not get any answer because the question will dissolve the questioner. If the ego, which is not a question, if the ego look at itself, it disappears.
yeah. No, I get what you're trying to say, but if I didn't understand how it worked, then I wouldn't get to this point that I'm now.
But I
where I
explained,
can have the retro.
like for 20 minutes, I explained you how it works, right? You keep on asking, see what to do, what to
Okay, I
do,
gotta
what
rewatch the video then.
to
Oh yeah, I have to rewatch the video. I think I've had enough right now.
do. Good Lord. I'm not laughing in a, it's just funny. Don't take me wrong. See, I'm not being nasty or anything.
No, I trust you and thank you for your help
It
as
is
always,
just
Cesar.
that it is amazing how the ego operates, right? Okay, but
Absolutely.
what shall I do? I said nothing. Yeah, because of this, that, and the other. And then, but what shall I do? I said nothing. Right.
Yeah.
That means that this is it. And then again, what shall I do then? I said nothing.
Yeah, this is what I just want to stop doing this. I mean even that, but I'm saying like yes, I want to stop
That's also
like okay,
desire.
I get it, but what do I do?
Exactly, nothing. Just be still. Look at the eye. Look at the questioner. See, the questioner must look at it. The question is inquiring about itself. It's observing itself. By doing so, it disappears.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Ramana said it very
Yeah.
clearly. The question, who am I, has no answer. The question, who am I, destroys the questioner. So the question, who am I, dissolves
Yeah.
the questions. The question, who am I, disappears. And then the I that rises the question disappears. This is the intellectual explanation. The practical means is the I pays attention to itself, investigate about its reality. It disappears.
Okay.
It keeps quiet and
Thank you, Cesar.
it begins to dissolve, sink into.
And like you said, just stay there longer. Don't go into assumptions or conclusions and
Just
try to
look at yourself,
figure out just
look at yourself, and don't get distracted by conclusions, okay, of any kind. Any conclusion discarded because it distracts you from yourself, because attention goes to the conclusion, which is your own thoughts.
mhm. Yeah. Thank you, Cesar.
You're welcome. Good.
Yeah. Good to talk to you,
Yeah, it's better to
like
talk.
always.
The chat is very. Imagine that we will have this conversation on the chat. My God, I will see my fingerprints will disappear from my out of too much typing, right?
Yeah.
I will lose my fingerprint out of typing.
Hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.